team, I hope you're all well. Happy Monday. Today I am here to start a new weekly vlog with you. I was going to do something a little bit different with this vlog, and I was going to do a bit of a cramming vlog, but as it turns out my week has kind of ended up being incredibly busy so far already. Andy's off for the whole week, so I feel like it would not be conducive to a cramming vlog. I'm going to get some reading done where I can, but overall we're going to try and spend some time together, get some wedding done, and also go see his dad. It's Mother's Day this week as well, so there's lots of things going on. I'll probably end up taking a day off work with my dad, but I am still going to be working for myself this week as well, so it would be nice to actually spend some time with Andy. So I'm not going to do a cramming vlog. So what was left on my TBR is it, everything I know about love, and also Love and Other Words. I'm fairly certain that was it. Maybe a couple of arcs as well. I've partway through one arc and then another arc to read as well. Now the thing with it is that, as you can see, I have started it. I've got 95 pages in and I am struggling to concentrate with this, and it's me that's the problem. I have so much going on. This week is so busy and I'm stressed that if I don't get this finished during this vlog, then it's going to cause me a problem, because I'm trying to do 30 books in 30 days in April and a 1,000-page book is not conducive to this. So I have made the decision collectively with my patrons to, because I don't actively want to DNF this, like I actually really want to give this a solid try and a really good go, and I think that I need to be in a better headspace to be picking this up, not as busy. So I've made the decision to put this down for now, and I will come back to it later on in the year, potentially around September, October for spooky season. I feel like it would be a good time, and maybe I can make like a full video out of it or something. So I've made the decision to do this. I wanted to be very clear with it and not just kind of ignore the fact that I've just chosen not to pick up it. I will be coming back round to it. By the end of the year, I will have either read this or officially DNF'd it. Right now, I don't really want to do that. I envisage that I will actually finish and enjoy this? Not necessarily, but I want to give it a good old, you know, good old college try. Is that what they say? I really want to give it, you know, the time that it deserves to give this a really good go, and at least try and get maybe halfway through before I fully make a decision on what to do with this. So on that basis, I've made the decision to not pick that up right now, and I will come back to it later on in the year when there's more time and my mind isn't as busy, and my week as well. So on that basis, we're going to just be having a kind of chill reading vlog a week, and what I am still trying to get through is my non-fiction for the month, which is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. This one is also my buzzword pick for Buzzwordathon, the word being thing in the title. So this is a non-fiction from Dolly Alderton about everything she knows about love. I've no idea what the synopsis is. It doesn't have one. So I'm going to be picking that up. I do have Love and Other Words on here by Christina Lauren. Now, I don't know if I'm in the mood about reading this one or not. I don't know. It's a struggle because I think it's quite an emotional read, and I'm not in the mood for that as a whole. So I don't know if I'm just going to replace the prompt with a different book and put this back on my shelf, annoyingly enough. I think that could end up being a possibility. The prompt for this was friends to lovers, and I could pick something else up for that in its place. So I think I may end up doing that. We'll see. So I wanted to go through what was left on my TBR and let you know what was going on with my head. So I think I'm going to put that back on the shelf and pick something else for friends to lovers. We can do that a bit later on in the vlog, because I've got a lot of options, but I'm not sure what to pick. So we'll do that, pop that there for now. I will forget what that is later. And then the other thing that I have on here is The Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu, and this is actually an adaptation. It's a comic adaptation. The reason why I'm picking this up, remember last month when I told you that I do those Instagram story things. I'll show a picture of it here where it's got 4 prompts. One of the prompts is a book with a number in the title, and I found this really difficult to complete with something that was short for this week, because at the time when I was picking my book, it was for a cramming vlog, so I was trying to find something short. I don't necessarily need to do this now, but I think I'm just going to do it anyway because it'll be quick to get through and I should read it anyway. It was sent to me by Yen Press, so thank you to them for sending me this one, and I think it'll be interesting, so I thought I would pick this one up. I've no interest in actually reading The Three-Body Problem, the novel adaptation, but maybe I will do after I've read this. We'll see. So I have those 2 for definites. The arc that I'm currently reading is Savage by Cal O'Reilly. I am currently 59% into this, and it is a motorcycle club romance. So I read Gunner's Mercy earlier on this year, later on last year. I can't remember when I read it. I gave it 4 stars, really enjoyed it. This one is following a different MC this time, and however we have seen some of the characters from this MC within Gunner's Mercy, so that's nice. There is an association there, so this is why I was really excited to get this arc. It comes out on the 27th, so by the time this vlog goes up it will be out, but I'm enjoying it so far. We are following Hayes, aka Savage, and we are following Bailey. She's a PI and he is obviously the president of this MC, Lotus MC, and they are childhood best friends. So they were best friends for a really long time from being kids, and then when they grew up a bit, I don't know if they had a full-blown relationship or not. I've never figured it out, but she's always been in love with him, he's always been in love with her. I don't know if anything was actually made of it, but when it got to a certain point, and Hayes, same person, but he wasn't Savage at the time, Hayes didn't want to join the MC, and the only way he could do that is to join the army instead, and he ended up leaving, and she was absolutely heartbroken. So some time has passed now and he's back in town and he's taken over the MC. Rogue, his uncle, passed away and he's taken over the MC, and he's trying to get the MC back on its feet again, and they end up chatting again and becoming friends again, and then becoming something more. She is looking for an old friend of theirs, well, an old friend, it's her best friend's brother, which Hayes had a run-in with Philip when they were kids. You get to see that quite early on in the book, and he had a run-in with him, and Hayes ends up helping her out with the MC to try and find this guy. And it's all going down. There is a stalker element to this, so it's bothering me a little bit, but not too much. I'm more intrigued to try and find out what it is that's gone on with Philip and how this ties in with Bailey and the MC and potentially this stalker that's stalking Bailey. So I'm more intrigued by the plot than I am bothered by the stalker element, which is good, I suppose. I will say I'm not obsessed with the writing style. I do feel like this book could have done with another round of edits, but I'm enjoying it overall. I think it's probably going to get around 3 stars. So I'm 59% into that. I would like to finish that potentially today, but I think I want to start this as well and try and get through this today. So quite a few things going on. I would also, once I've finished Savage, which is why I want to finish it today, like to start my arc of Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. That comes out on the 1st of April. I'd love to finish it before it comes out, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. But to at least get a head start on it would be fantastic. So once I've finished Savage, that will be my next physical read. So yeah, I've got quite a few things going on. I've got these 2, I've got Savage that I'm going to finish, and I've got Say You'll Remember Me, and then I want to replace that Friends to Lovers from Love and Other Words to something different. I'm not going to replace the Steal a Book from a friend's TBR pick because I do still want to get to it at some point this year, and I've no doubt I'll get to Love and Other Words at some point this year, but it might be nice to add something else onto my TBR as well. We'll see whether or not I have the time, albeit actually Savage is Friends to Lovers. Oh, I've completed the prompt. I've completed it mate. Friends to Lovers, Savage. That was really dumb of me. I wonder if you've been screaming at your TV. So I've completed the prompt with Savage. I'll swap Love and Other Words out with Savage, and if I pick something else up other than these 2 and the 2 arcs, I will let you know, but otherwise I may not. We'll see what happens. I do have Spy Family 5 on my 12 books from 12 friends, so maybe I'll try and slot that in as well, because I need to make some progress on that TBR. It's not going great, so I could do with making some progress on that, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted and I will let you know. But yeah, okay, completed it, mate. Not yet, 59% in, but the swap has happened. I'm gonna go I'm gonna get some stuff done and I'll check back in with you and an update for you. Okay, howdy, it's a little bit later on in the day. It's almost 3 o'clock and I thought I should come on and give you an update. I've made a decision about a book and I've started another one. So I did start Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I've gotten to page 80 and I'm not enjoying this, I've got to be honest. It's pretty much what I thought it, well actually I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but it's essentially Dolly Alderton's memoir about what she's learning about love throughout her entire life. Dolly, as it turns out, I wanted to check when this came out and how old Dolly is to see how it relates. So it came out in 2018 and in 2018 I was 27, 28 I think. Does that make sense? Yeah, 27, 28 I think. Dolly's a year older than me. She is currently 36 and I am 35, and I think that I may have associated with this a little bit more back maybe in my early 20s, but it wasn't written then, so maybe when it came out in my late 20s. But I don't even know if that would have been the case. I don't know what it is about this book, but I'm finding it quite obnoxious. I think that Dolly's outlook on life and her version, you know, people's lives are all different for different reasons. However, I will say that I think that, for example, there is a chunk in here when she's at university and little things like making the decision to go to a party hundreds of miles away and paying £300 on a taxi, but just being able to drop £300 on a taxi for a party several hundred miles away is insane. And I just, it's little things like that, the way that she's treating her friends, the way that she speaks about people and treats them, and those types of things. I don't like it. I don't like the person that she is. I'm hoping that she'll have grown up significantly and that's the whole point, but I'm also finding that this is kind of more on the side of things that she's learning about life. And you know, it probably should have stopped at life, to be honest. It's all of these things. She's got a bit of an alcohol problem. She has, you know, we've just had a chapter about weight and eating too much and then stopping eating to try and lose the weight, but then taking it too far, etc, etc, eating disorders essentially. And we've talked about alcoholism and things like that, which I wasn't expecting essentially, but maybe I should have with the title, I'm not sure. But I don't know, I just find it very much so, I think she grew up with money essentially, and maybe richer than a lot of other people, and it kind of shows. She has this kind of like obnoxious snobby side to her, the way that she treats people. She had someone, for example, a guy told her that they were interested in her friend, and because she didn't want this guy to make a move on her friend, she told the guy that her friend is dating someone and she's currently on the phone to him called Dave. And he was like, but I thought she'd broken up with him. She's like, nah, they're always on and off, and they're currently on. And when her friend came back to her, she was like, oh, what did he want? And she was like, oh, he wanted to ask you out, but I don't want him to ask you out, so I told him you're dating someone. And I was like, the fuck is wrong with you? Have you ever heard of girl code? I'm hoping that she will have grown up, but I just don't know if I'm even going to get to that point with this book. I've ended up putting it down. I'm feeling really off with audiobooks and I don't know what's happened. I don't know if I'm in a bit of a reading, not slump, a book hangover with the Thesma series, or if it is affected by one of the books that I've just DNF'd. So I've just, because I then tried another book that I'm reading for a different vlog and that's not sticking. So for the time being, I am putting this down till a little bit later on in the week. I'll come back to it and try again. Maybe it's just my mood, but I'm just finding it a little bit of a struggle. And on that basis, I suddenly realised that because I'm not doing It by Stephen King in this vlog anymore, that was my classic for the month. So I've had to find another classic. I have two options. If audiobooks come back into play, I think I'm going to pick up And Then There Was None by Agatha Christie, because it's a shortish one and I can get the audiobook. So I think I'll pick that up. But if audiobooks are not in play this week, we're in a bit of bother with everything I know about love. But in general, I don't think I'm necessarily enjoying the book as a whole anyway. I don't think it's necessarily like a general... it's a memoir, but it's not very often I don't like memoirs, and I just don't care for what it is that she's saying, because although I relate to some of it, I've come out of the other side of that because I'm significantly older now. I've had my own experiences with love and life and partying and uni and all of that stuff, and although it's not like too dissimilar, it is quite dissimilar on the money side, and I just find it a little bit too snobbish. I don't like the way she's treating people and stuff like that, so I don't know, we'll see. The other book as an option for a classic that I don't have an audiobook for is Chris Mould's War of the Worlds. This is a graphic novel adaptation of War of the Worlds, and although it's not completely graphic novel, there is a lot of illustrations here, but there is also quite a bit of text as well telling the story. So it does have, let me see if I can show you, a mix of text and then graphic novel illustrations, but I feel like this could be a quick one to try and get through, and it is down as a classic. When you search for it on Goodreads, it's down as a classic because it is a retelling. So yeah, I think that could be my other option. If audiobooks are not in play, I will do War of the Worlds. If they are, I'll do And Then There Were None, I think. So that will replace it for classic, because I suddenly realised I was like, shit, that was my challenge for the month for classic. The book that I have decided to DNF is Savage by Cal O'Reilly. I'm a little bit gutted about this situation because it was fine. I was having a reasonably good time. The writing could have probably done with another round of edits. In all honesty, it probably could have done with another round of edits. Some of the sex scenes were giving me the ick a little bit. Just some of the things he was saying to her, I don't know what it was about it. And again, this could all be tied in with what it is that's made me DNF the book, which is actually a trigger. So obviously my only trigger, not obviously, but if you've been here a while, you will know this. If you haven't, my only trigger is stalking, and it plays a heavy part in this role. I think I mentioned it in the intro. Plays a heavy part in this role, plays a heavy part in this book. Bailey is actually being stalked, and we don't know why at this point. And I think the reason why I've kept going and kept going and kept going, because I've gotten to page 195 now, and I've literally got like 60 odd pages left to go. But the reason I kept going was because I wanted to know who and why this was happening. I don't have those answers, but I think that this book is affecting my mental state significantly, and I can feel it. I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling restless, and I can't settle, which I think explains why I'm struggling with the audiobooks. I'm just struggling to settle, and I think it's the book. So I've DNF'd it. I've emailed the PR company that sent me the ARC to let them know that I'm not going to be able to do a review on it because I've DNF'd it for this reason. But I have enjoyed Cal O'Reilly's book before, with Gunner's Mercy, and they have a whole bunch of other MC books, and I would like to get to those. So there's a second one coming out soon, I think, once this has come out. I think there's another one called Fang, which is Savage's, one of his men in his MC, so I'll probably give that one a go, and maybe I might get my answer from that as well. But with this one, it is a shame because it's the only reason I'm DNFing. Like, yes, the writing could do with a couple round, maybe another edit, at least one. And yes, some of the sex scenes are giving me the ick. But overall, I was enjoying myself. It was a quick read, it was fast paced, but the trigger is the only reason I'm DNFing this book. So if somebody else reads this at some point, can you let me know who it, well, I know I've figured out, actually I have not figured it out, but I know who, I've got a name of the stalker now, but I don't know why. I don't know how it ties in with the MC. I think it probably does, but I don't know how it ties in with the MC and for what reason he's doing it. So I would like to know those answers. If anybody ever picks this up at some point, can you tell me? Just drop me a DM and let me know. So what I'm gonna do is move on to something that hopefully will be a lot easier on my brain. And I'm actually going to go on to Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez and try and get some of that in today. So the synopsis for this one is the perfect guy, the perfect date, utterly disastrous timing. I always love a perfect guy, wrong time type of thing. That was me and Andy for the longest time. There might be no such thing as the perfect guy, but Xavier Rush comes disastrously close. A gorgeous veterinarian giving Greek god vibes, all while cuddling a tiny kitten. Immediately, yes. That is until he opens his mouth and proves that even sculpted gods can say the absolute wrong thing. But there's nothing Samantha loves more than proving an asshole wrong. Unless he can admit he made a mistake. But after one incredible date, possibly the best in living history, Samantha is forced to admit the truth, that any kind of relationship would be impossible. Samantha begs Xavier to forget her, to remember their night together as perfect moment, as crushing as that may be. Only no amount of distance or time is nearly enough to forget that something's between them, and the only thing better than one perfect memory is to make a life, and even love, worth remembering. This sounds like a long... what do you call it? A long period of time. What is it called? Slow burn. Struggles. It's because I was stuck on the word long. A slow burn. It sounds like a slow burn. So I'm excited. I'm going to give this one a go. I think because I feel like that will get me back into the swing of things after the trigger of Savage. So let's go do that, because this has been a second very long update and completely unnecessary, I think. So let's go.
Another rainy afternoon, I don't know what I'm to do. I just miss you more than anything. It's way too quiet in the house. I'm just wasted on the couch, 'cause I don't wanna feel anything. Wish you'd stayed here beside me. This isn't how it's supposed to be. Wish you'd stayed here right with me. I can't shake that feeling that we said goodbye too soon.
Okay, hellos. It is, I have no idea what time it is. Oh, it's only 20 to 1. It feels like it's about 3 or 4 o'clock. I've been up since 7. I've been working since 8. So I have a couple updates for you. I did get some book mail, and it is my copy of Summer in the City by Alex Laster, which comes out today on Tuesday the 25th. And this is the Waterstones edition with these stunning sprayed edges, and it is signed on the inside by Alex as well. There is a mark here, and I'm a little bit pissed about it, but I just don't know if I can be bothered to try and get it swapped out for another one, because I don't think it will be easy to do. I don't think they'll have special edition ones for too long in the shop. So anyway, this has come in, and I do want to get to it soon. This could be potentially a good one for in April, while I'm trying to do 30 books in 30 days maybe. The text in here is small though, I will say. Like, it's less than 300 pages, but the audiobook's over 10 hours. Regardless, I'm excited to give this one a read. So that has just come in the post, so that's cool. And then reading update for you. I started Say You'll Remember Me yesterday after making the decision on DNFing Savage, and then coming to the conclusion that either Savage was affecting me so much that I literally just couldn't stick with the book, or I literally only need to physically read this week. I decided to pick up Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, and this was a really good shout. It was a great shout. In fact, I think the combination of DNFing Savage and then picking this up itself was a good shout, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop reading. I got to 53% yesterday of this book. It is so good. We're following Samantha and we're following Xavier. Xavier's a veterinary a vet. Xavier is a vet and he's opened up his own business. There's just him and 2 other women that work there that help out in reception, and like nurses as well that help out with like the reception side of things, but the nurse side of things as well. And he runs the whole show on his own. And one day this woman comes in with a kitten that she's found abandoned. And this woman is Samantha. Now, they end up having a little bit of a to-do about this kitten. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's not mentioned on the back of the book. And they end up having a bit of an argument, and she's like, you know what? Fuck you. You're an asshole, and leaves. And then a week or 2 passes, couple weeks pass, and she ends up going back with the kitten, and he was like, I am sorry. I was an asshole. You were correct, and I am sorry. And they end up going out on a date, and this date is absolutely incredible. Like, it's the best day ever. You can really feel the chemistry between these 2 immediately. Also, they're both absolutely hilarious. Samantha is very outspoken, and she's very, you know, cut to the chase. She doesn't fuck around. She's not beating around the bush, and I love her personality. Xavier is very similar, but in a sense, like in an almost introverted way. He doesn't particularly like people, entirely understandable. He prefers pets or animals in general, and he sometimes, I don't know if he's got maybe like a bit of an anxiety disorder or something, I'm not sure, but with Xavier, he's got a lot in his past that kind of makes sense as to why he is the way he is today. Again, don't want to go into it too much, but do check your triggers before you go into this, because it is quite hard hitting with quite a few different factors. So obviously the animal side of things, there is mentions of animal abuse, there's obviously mentions of death of animals with him being a vet, etc, etc. There is mentions of child abuse, physically, mentally, etc, etc, and there is also mentions of dementia and how that affects people as well in the family. Sam's mum has dementia, so she's having to deal with that. So they have this fantastic day, and then as it turns out, she's leaving. She's going to move back to California, if I remember correctly. California, they're in Minnesota at the beginning of the book. She's moving back to California to go and be with her family and help take care of her mum. But he didn't know this at the beginning of the day, and this day was the most incredible thing ever. He thought she was just taking a trip, but no, she's moving permanently. And then I thought this was then going to be a case of them bumping into each other accidentally over the course of the next few years until eventually they end up getting together. It's not that case. As it turns out, it's like 2 weeks later, and he makes the decision to go and visit her, and then some more time passes and it happens again, and that's the point I'm at. He's made his 2nd visit, and I'm so interested to see where this is going to go. There are several reasons why right now they just cannot be together. There's no way they can make it work. She has to be in California. He has to be in Minnesota. There are 2,000 miles between them, and there's just no idea how they're going to make it work. So it costs him a fortune every single time to go over there, and I don't think she can risk going visiting back to Minnesota because of the condition that her mum's in. So I'm interested to see where this is going to go, but it's incredibly hard hitting as always. Abby just does the most incredible job at putting very hard hitting topics into her books, but also making them absolutely hilarious. I cannot tell you how many times Rhysand's name has been mentioned in this book, and it's outstanding because Xavier's been compared to Rhys. So I'm obsessed. She can do no wrong. She can do no wrong. This is the 7th book I've picked up from Abby Jimenez, and I'm telling you now, it's going to be 5 stars. It's going to be my 7th 5-star from Abby. She can do no wrong, and I just fucking love her. So excited to continue on with that. I don't think it'll take me too much longer to get through. I just need to find some time to sit down and actually read, which is what I've done this morning. I have read my classic, which was the graphic novel version of War of the Worlds by Chris Mould. So this is inspired by H.G. Wells. It's not actually an adaptation, it's inspired by. So the story is different to H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. Struggles, so many W's. This one is following Leon, and when the Martians sun's fall, Leon is helping his friend out at the observatory and they see it coming in. And now he ends up trying to get his wife, Anya, and their 3 children out of town so that they can be safe. And he is then documenting exactly what is going on with the Martians and with this invasion. So he's out there, he's drawing it up. So it's thought that these are his illustrations and stuff. He's drawing it all up, he's making notes, etc., so that it will go down in history. So he's doing all of this adventure type of thing. Now, fun fact, I am a massive fan, and have been for a very long time, of Jeff Wayne's musical adaptation of War of the Worlds. Huge fan. If me and my dad go on a road trip, that's what we'll listen to on repeat. Like, we will listen to the whole thing, we know it back to front. And it's just such a fantastic story. I've also been to see a live adaptation of it in Manchester as well. Specifically Jeff Wayne's one, where Liam Neeson is the narrator, and there are a few other famous people that are involved as well. And it's absolutely fantastic. I went with my parents and we loved it so much that we do want to go back and see it again. But the ticket prices for concerts and stuff have gone up so significantly, it's insane. I think when we first went, this was like pre-COVID, I'm fairly certain like our tickets were maybe £50 each, if that. They're like 110 quid now. It's insane. It's like doubled or more than doubled. So anyway, fun fact, I'm obsessed with Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, and while I was reading this, I was singing some of the songs over and over in my head, and this very much so does follow that very closely, which obviously that was inspired by H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds as well. So I know that a lot better than I do H.G. Wells' version, which is pretty bad seeing as it was H.G. Wells' idea, but I could relate to it very much so. Like, he meets a military guy called Troy and helps him out a little bit, cleans him up, gets him some food, etc, etc. That happens in the book, it happens in Jeff Wayne's version, and it was just fascinating. The illustrations were absolutely stunning. I think I showed you some in some B-roll. They're beautiful, and the storytelling as well, very well done. So it wasn't too heavy on the storytelling, which was really nice and made for a very quick read, but then the combination of the illustrations as well, really, really well done. And I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. 4.5 stars. I had a fantastic time. I think it's the combination of already loving and knowing the story very well, especially from Jeff Wayne's musical adaptation. But on top of that, when I went to go and get this, I got it at an indie bookstore in Halifax when we were seeing Andy's dad before Christmas, and Chris was actually in the shop signing books, and this one is... Andy asked him if he would, because Andy was picking this up for me for Christmas, and when he suddenly realised that it was the illustrator that was in the store and he was signing the books, Chris offered to actually personalise this for me, which was so lovely of him. And then I got a photo with him as well. I'll show a picture of it here. But yeah, I think it's the combination of all of those things, but also this actually being very, very well done, that makes me love it so much more. This probably would have been like a 4-star at the most, if it wasn't for the fact that I already love War of the Worlds, Jeff Wayne's version specifically, but also how I got the book and meeting Chris as well. So yeah, very exciting. So I've read my classic for the month, which is great news. So I don't know what I'm going to go on to now. I haven't actually decided. I probably should try and carry on with Everything I Know About Love, but I honestly don't want to go back to that book. I'm going to give it a couple more days before I fully make a decision on it, but I'm not in any mood to be going back to that book. I have read another book today for a different video, so I am reading other stuff in the background. But maybe I'll try and get some more of Say You'll Remember Me done. If I finish this, I can move on to another arc, which would be great for a physical read. Not necessarily finish this week, but just for a physical read to get through some more physical reading. So yeah, other than that, I don't know what else I'm going to move on to. I do have the 3-body problem that I need to move on to actually, so maybe I might try and do that, because I think that'll be a quick one. So I might try and do that. These clips are ending up very, very long, and I'm so sorry. I just keep rambling. My apologies. But yeah, I think with the why so many pigeons? That is a fat bird. Sorry. Birds on the roof of my garage. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to move on to next. I'm not sure. I kind of want an audiobook so I can potter a little bit, but I also don't know if I'm in the mood for an audiobook, which is super helpful. So yeah, I may try and do the 3 body problems so I can tick that off as well on that challenge, the Instagram challenge. So I might do that, or I may carry on with Say You'll Remember Me. We'll see. Andy's out, he's going to take his mum to the supermarket, so maybe I'll just try and mooch my way through some more of this. The 3 body problem is a good one to have later on in the week when I haven't got as much time to read, actually, but to keep myself ticking over with reading. So I might just keep that one till then, but this one, maybe I'll try and smash my way through another chunk of this before he gets home. So yeah, I'm gonna go and do that, and I'll check back in with you later. Good morning, it is Wednesday and it's 9:05 and I'm just getting my shoes on for work. So I thought we could have a little chat about the book I finished yesterday and then started a new one last night. So yesterday I finished Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I loved this book. Abby does it again. That is my 8th 5-star from her. I've read The Situationship, which was 5 stars, which is like literally a 30-page novella or something. But I haven't read, she's got 2 others. I haven't read The Fall Risk yet because I was going to read it a couple months ago, I think, when it came out. But I was put off because I've been told that it's got a stalker in it. Now I don't know if because it's a short story I might be okay, so I do want to try it, but I haven't read that one and I haven't read The Wingman, I think it's called, another short story, which is attached to a bunch of short story collections. So maybe April's the time to pick those up if I'm trying to do 30 books in 30 days, especially towards the end of the month if I'm struggling and I need some more books to get through. Maybe I could pick those up then, but those are the only 2 books I haven't read from her. But yeah, Say You'll Remember Me got 5 stars. It's my favourite one out of the lot, and I will say, not only did it get 5 stars, but I've never really had like this whole God tier thing. It's like a TikTok thing, but I actually kind of understand it now, and it's become one of my God tier books. Abby's been one of my God tier authors for a while now, like, I mean, 8 5 stars. She's never let me down yet, but this book is now a God tier book, along with Binding 13, and the thing that these 2 have in common is that they got 10s across the board on my core pile rating and perfect scores, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. It's so funny, this camera is too high. It was so good. I loved Xavier and Samantha. I loved the combination of really funny, very flirty, so invested in this relationship, but also incredibly eye-opening and heartbreaking and heart-wrenching as well, with some of the other things going on. Do check your triggers before you go into this and your content warnings. There is mention, but not shown on page, of animal abuse and also child abuse, both physically and verbally, so just check your triggers for those. But also there is on page mention of dementia and how that affects the family and how it affects the person suffering with dementia as well, so just be careful with those things if any of them are triggers for you. But it is a very heavy subject matter for multiple reasons within this book, but it was incredibly well done. I think Abby's yet again nailed that balance between kind of like a rom-com but also really hard-hitting contemporary romance, and I just don't know how she manages it every single time. There was a moment in this book, not just a moment actually, but for a good portion of it, where this couple were in such a sticky situation, and I just wasn't sure if they were ever going to be able to resolve this situation to make this relationship work. They're both living 2,000 miles away, one of them living in Minnesota, the other one living in California. There's literally nothing either of them can do about their situations. She cannot leave because of the situation she's in with her family. He cannot leave because of the situation he's in with his veterinary practice. And it's just, I just didn't know how they were going to resolve this. How much longer was this going to go on for? I sobbed. There's a couple of scenes towards the end where I really cried, and the older vet coming in, Hank, oh, what a sweetheart that man is. I absolutely love him. I'm not sure where Abby's going to go with this. She tends to do her books as like a trilogy but not a trilogy, and I don't know It's a little bit complicated. So when you get to Abby's books, and I cannot recommend this enough because I did the exact opposite of this, but if you ever decide to pick up Abby's books and you start off with her first set of books that came out, you have the Friend Zone, the Happily Ever After playlist, and then Life's Too Short. Please, for the love of God, read them in that order, because I picked up the Happily Ever After playlist not realising the Friend Zone was already out. I just picked up her newest release in that moment, and the FMC's story starts in the Friend Zone. It starts in the Friend Zone, so very heavily as well. Like her entire arc starts in the Friend Zone, and I was so pissed when I picked up the Friend Zone. Then I was so pissed that I'd read these out of order. You can read them as standalones, but if you want the overarching plot of all of it, because eventually in the last book that she does for that trilogy, not trilogy, it all comes together and it all makes sense, how these characters know each other, etc, etc. Exact same thing goes for Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer. When I got to the end of Just for the Summer, I was kicking, squealing, giggling my feet when it all came together, and I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic. So I'm really excited to see what characters she'll follow with this one. She could make it kind of super simple. Xavier's got a bunch of friends that she could follow, and Samantha's got 2 siblings that she could follow. Or she could make it a little bit more out there maybe. I mean, Xavier's also got 2 women that work for him at the veterinary practice that he could follow, that she could follow. So I don't know where she's going to go from here, but I'm so excited to see what comes next from her. Yeah, God tier book. It was incredible. It's my favourite from her so far. I loved everything about it. There was literally nothing wrong with this book, and immediately when I sat down and started the book, literally within the first page, I sat down and I just relaxed the whole time. I was like, this is like a warm hug. Picking up one of Abby's books is like a warm hug, and I just love it. It makes me feel so safe, it makes me feel so comforted, and I know she's going to tear my heart out, but it just makes me feel safe and comfort, and I love her for that. So would highly recommend picking this up. But if you are going to go back and read her backlist, please read them in order. You can, as I say, read them as standalones. They are all standalones, but the characters cross over. There is, without officially saying it, they are essentially 2 sets of trilogies, but they're not, you know. I can't tell you enough to read them in order, please. So I read that, my battery's flashing, and then I decided to pick up Summer in the City by Alex Astor. I have the arc of this and I haven't read it yet, so I thought, I'm still in a physical reading mood. I don't know what's going on with me. I never physically read, very rarely physically read, so I'm in a physical reading mood, so I'm just going to lean into it. The only audiobooks I'm doing at the moment this week is for a different video that I'm filming, so I've only got one left for that video, and it's just a novella. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go back to everything I know about love, to be perfectly honest. I will keep you posted, but Summer in the City I've started reading. I'm currently on page 20, chapter 4. This is following 27-year-old screenwriter Elle has the chance of a lifetime to write a big budget movie set in New York City. The only problem, she's had a writer's block for months, and her screenplay is due by the end of summer. Desperate for inspiration, Elle returns to New York City, the city she hates. How someone could hate New York City, I don't know. Mind you, she grew up there, so maybe that's why. And tries to throw herself into writing, but then she meets her new neighbour, Parker Warren. He's the city's favourite handsome tech billionaire, and he's also the guy Elle hooked up with in a stairwell 2 years ago. When seeing him again turns into a night of hate-fueled writing, Elle realises Parker might just be her twisted muse. So when Parker needs to fake a steady relationship during his company's precarious acquisition, and Elle needs to research a list of classic date spots in the city for her screenplay, they suddenly find they might just be exactly what the other needs. So it always ends, and so will this agreement. It's all pretend, promise, until it isn't. I'm so excited to read this. I love New York City. It's my favourite place on earth other than being with my people and home, honestly. But this map is stunning, and I'm obsessed, and I'm so excited to read this. I've seen reviews that say that this is like a proper good old noughties rom-com, and I feel like that's what I need following on from Abby's book, because I do feel like I'm in a little bit of a book hangover, not just from Now Say You'll Remember Me, but also from the Legend of Thesma series. So I feel like nice, easy-ish reads are what I need. outside of Say You'll Remember Me. So I am going to be reading this one. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be filled with banter, and I'm excited. So far I am enjoying it. It's going well, and it does read like a noughties rom-com, so that should be fun. It reads a little bit like, I haven't read Confessions of a Shopaholic, but I imagine that this is what it kind of reads like a little bit, and I don't hate that. It reads like some of my older Lindsay Kelk books, like I Heart New York and stuff, those types of books. I feel like it's going to be fun and I'm going to have a good time. So yeah, I'm hoping that maybe I can finish this week as well. I didn't read for too long last night because I was absolutely shattered, so I've managed to get to page 20 pretty quickly, but I'm obsessed with these edges. And if I do feel like the audiobook side of things is kicking back in again, I can always pick the audiobook up for this because it has come out now. So yeah, I'm going to read this one. It's been a very heavy, now I think about it, it's been quite a heavy arc video this, because I was reading, when we started, I was reading Savage by Calla Riley, which I did DNF'd because of the stalking, and then I've read Say You Remember Me, and now this. Have I read anything else this week? It will be a very arc heavy vlog, which is fun. I am also going to be reading The Three Body Problem, which was sent to me by a publisher, so also. So yeah, quite a bit of publisher mail stuff this week. So yeah, I am gonna go. I need to get myself off to work, but I just wanted to give you an update on Say You'll Remember Me and then let you know what I was reading next. So yeah, having a great time with my reads so far, except obviously I'm still tempted to go back and finish Savage. I know that it could cause me a lot of problems mentally, and I shouldn't do it on that basis, but I want to know what happens at the end. Like, I am invested in it. The writing wasn't perfect and there is a trigger in there for me, but I'm invested in the story. I want to know who it was. Maybe now I've had a couple of days away from it, I might be alright jumping back in. I don't know. I don't know whether to risk it or not. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm going to go and I will keep you updated on how this is going. And I'll check in with you in a bit. Okay, good morning. It is Saturday and it's currently 9:30. We are going out soon. We're going to go and see Andy's dad today. I've not spoke to you in a couple of days, but we've had an incredibly busy week. So I had a chance to do a little bit of work on Monday and Tuesday. I worked for my dad on Wednesday, and then the rest of the week I've kind of taken off. I've been doing bits and bobs of work here, but not much, and I could do with sitting down doing a little bit. So if I get a chance, I might do some this evening and tomorrow evening. But it's been a busy couple of days. On Thursday we went to Liverpool and we went for a wander around Liverpool. It was so busy for a Thursday afternoon. Why is nobody in work? Says the girl that was shopping in Liverpool. I didn't get Andy loads for his birthday and Christmas. We had an agreement because he didn't know what he wanted. Speak of the devil. Hello? Yeah, I didn't sort Andy out with too much birthday and Christmas because he couldn't decide what he wanted. So we kind of left it with the promise that when he sees something from here on out, I will get it for him. Clothes, whatever it is that he wants. So I thought that we could go to Liverpool and maybe do a bit of clothes shopping for him. As it turns out, he got nothing and I came home with a bunch of stuff. So I'll tell you, let's go through day by day and I'll tell you what I've been up to. So as I say, we did go into Liverpool. Obviously I went to Waterstones. It's such a beautiful Waterstones, I just love it. But again, it was so busy and I didn't film anything in there. I don't know what it is about me, but I just sometimes forget. If I'm not with other content creators and I'm just with Andy, I sometimes forget, or if I'm like with him and not on my own, I forget to get my camera out and film. Like, it's just a thing I forget to do. I forget what my job is. I'm just enjoying myself in the moment. I think that's what it is. And then I forget to get my camera out and then I leave and I'm like, shit, I should have filmed in there. And I didn't. So my apologies. But we did go into Waterstones. I filmed like yesterday in Bolton Waterstones. I didn't pick anything up from there though. So I ended up with a little bit of a haul from there. Didn't spend a penny. I had £60 on my card, which is very exciting. So I did just get a handful of books that were on my wish list on Amazon. Immediately then took them off my wish list on Amazon, just in case. But I only got things that I was aiming to get anyway. So I did end up with volume 11 of Solo Leveling. When I went to the Samantha Shannon event a couple weeks ago, if you remember correctly, I was walking around Forbidden Planet in Manchester with this for a little while and put it back. I did end up picking it up while I was in Waterstones, so I did get this one. I'm not up to this yet. I actually don't think I've read, I think I've read volume 9 but not volume 10, so volume 10 and 11 will keep me going for a little bit till volume 12 comes out later on this year. And I also got My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999, volume 3. I would have gotten volumes 4 and 5 as well. They had volume 5 but not volume 4, so I just left it at volume 3 for the time being. But I would have got the other two had they had volume 4, but alas they didn't. I've read volumes 1 and 2, so I am up to volume 3, so that's exciting. Then I also got More Days in the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagasawa, which is the second one to Days at the Morisaki Bookshop, which I really enjoyed. I read that earlier on this month. God, that feels ages ago. So I did get the second one so that I could read that. This might be a good one to pick up actually in April for 30 books in 30 days as well, so I may do that, we'll see. But I did pick up the second one because I really enjoyed the first one. And then the last book that I did get is a book that's been on my radar for a while now. I've read a couple of books from this author and really enjoyed them, and I would like to read his backlist. So it is Bird Box by Josh Malerman, which is quite the throwback because this is not a recent book at all. In fact, there's a second one called Mallory. Oh, okay, this paperback edition is 2018, but first published in 2014. I've seen the movie with Sandra Bullock and I really enjoyed it, and this is on my horror bingo TBR, and I've been waiting for it to come down in price on Kindle, but it's just not done. So I thought, well, I'll just get a physical copy then. I was kind of hoping they might, I don't mind this cover to be fair, but I was kind of hoping that they might redo these covers along with the other covers that they've redone, but they didn't. I also had Pearl, is it Pearl? Pearl by Josh Malerman in my hand for a while as well. Put it back on the shelf. And then put that on my wish list because I am interested. I do want to go back and read his other stuff. So far from Josh, I have read A House at the End of the Lake. I ended up getting the original cover of that as well. I do like the new one, but I love this original cover, so I don't think I'm going to replace it. But I really liked this one. This was really good. And then his more recent one, Incidents Around the House, loved that. Gave it 5 stars. It's fantastic. So I'd like to read more from him. So I didn't pick up Mallory. They had it, but I didn't pick it up because I want to read this first and see whether or not I enjoy it enough to pick up Mallory, because I believe Mallory is the second one. So yeah, those are the books that I did pick up. Nothing too crazy. A couple bits of manga, a translated fiction, and then a horror that's been on my radar for a while. And as I say, they were all on my wish list, so I'm not picking up anything completely random. That's Andy coming back. And then I did get myself a new little jelly cat as well. I got this little what's it called? They come with names. My name is Bunny Egg. Look at how cute she is. So she's absolutely adorable. So I did get her as well. I was looking round in Waterstones. They don't seem to have as much these days, which is a shame. So I ended up getting this one from Utility, and she's absolutely adorable. They had a bride egg one, and if they'd have had the groom egg as well, I'd have probably got those, but they didn't. So I got the bunny one. She's really cute. Yesterday we went to Bolton, and we took Andy's mum out for Mother's Day, a couple of days early, but we're actually out with Matt and Tara on Mother's Day. So we took her out yesterday and we went for a wander around Bolton. I got my ring valued and it had a little clean as well, which was nice. It's something that I've been needing to get done so that I can get it insured. So we did that and potted around a little bit. I did go into Waterstones in Bolton, as I said, and got a few clips from there. I was then going to insert those like it was Liverpool, and then suddenly realised that those two shops do not compare in the slightest. So here are the clips from Bolton Waterstones if you were interested. I did remember to do my job yesterday, despite the fact that I didn't buy anything. And then we went for some lunch, and it was a really nice day, very lovely indeed. I did come home to this though, which is a Marigold Mind Laundry, which I think is another yeah, it's a Korean bestseller, so it's translated fiction. This is absolutely adorable. It came from Amazon, but there's no gift note with it, so I don't know who it was. But whoever this was, thank you very, very much. Let me know in the comments down below if it was you, because there's no gift note with it, unfortunately. But thank you very much. This is very sweet. Very, very sweet indeed. So that was a nice little sweet thing to come home to. And today, as I say, we're going to go and see Andy's dad. We're going to Halifax. Tomorrow we are out for Mother's Day. We're going bowling with Matt and Tara and the kids in the morning, and then we're going to go out for some lunch and then to the club if it's nice. So it's been a lovely few days, very, very busy, but it's been a lovely few days. So in that time, I have finished another book, but it's not for this vlog, it's for a different vlog. I just wanted to let you know that I have been reading. Because it looks like I haven't at all. I have. I have actually made the decision to DNF Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I just think that maybe I'm too old for this now. I feel like this, despite the fact that it wasn't out, then I feel like this would have been a much better read for me in my early 20s. I just think that I've experienced way too much more in life and love these days for me to think that this isn't, to think that this is funny. Or, you know, it's just written in a much more higher class as well than I was anticipating. I thought it was going to be very much more lower to mid class. It feels much more upper class, and I just think that therefore she comes across as a little bit of a bitch rather than it being funny, which is a shame, but it is what it is. So yeah, unfortunately that is a DNF, which is my buzzwordathon for the month. I haven't got time to fit anything else in now, so it's just going to have to stay, but it's my buzzwordathon for the month as well as my non-fiction for the month. It is what it is. This has been on my shelves for so long, I'm actually glad to see it go in one capacity or the other. So DNFing that one. And then as far as Summer in the City is concerned by Alex Astor, I am still trundling along with this. I have very mixed feelings about it, I will say. I'm reading it on my Kindle because I do have an arc of it, so let me just let you know where I'm up to with this, because I read a couple more chapters last night. I am just kind of going chapter by chapter, to be fair. I'm only managing to fit in like a couple chapters here and a couple chapters there. I'm on page 54, so I'm not making too much progress at all, but I'm having very mixed feelings about it. I tried the audiobook a little bit yesterday. Don't like the audiobook in the slightest. The narrator sounds incredibly bored with this story, which doesn't help facts at all. So this one I'm struggling a little bit with, because I'm finding Elle, our main character, so she's a screenwriter and she's not written anything for a while, but she's on a little bit of a deadline. Now she's a very successful screenwriter. She's written screenwrites for some very successful movies or plays, I'm not sure. So she's quite successful, but she's now got this job. She's on a very tight deadline and she's really struggling. So she ends up going to New York for some inspiration. She's currently house watching, flat watching, whatever it is, for a friend. And the problem that I'm having a little bit with her is that she's incredibly negative and I'm struggling to get on board with it. She's really negative. She hates New York with a passion. Now, I'm not sure I've ever come across somebody who hates New York so viscerally than Elle. And I don't quite get it. Now, maybe she grew up in New York and that's the reason why, I'm not sure. But as someone from the UK, who New York is one of my favourite cities in the world, I just can't get behind it, even in the slightest. Like, she's no reason to hate New York other than the fact that in the summer it's a bit of a sweatbox. It's a city. Every city is a sweatbox in the summer. I'm not sure what to say. But she won't stop going on about it. Like, she repeats herself all the time about how much she hates New York City. Anyway, the first chapter in this is that she hooks up with this guy one night called Parker, and it turns out that he's like a multi-billionaire or something for a tech company that he owns, and he makes a comment about the type of woman that she is, which immediately puts the whole situation that they're in on a downer, and she walks out of there so fucking pissed off. Now, years have gone by and this man is everywhere. He's on billboards, he's on the news, he's on this TV show, he's on that TV show, he's in magazines, etc, etc. And she hates this man. Like, she has spoken about it at length in therapy, etc, etc, and she hates this man and will not let it go. And as it turns out, he's her neighbour. at this flat share in New York. And so he asked her to do some fake dating with him, and she needs his help to try, because he seems to be her muse in the sense that despite the fact that she viscerally hates this man as well as New York City, every single time she has a run-in with him, she's able to write. So she starts to hang out with him a little bit more. But I think it's going to become more than just fake dating and hating him. I don't know what it is. The writing style is fun. I'm enjoying being in New York, although she's putting a dampener on it for me, which is really pissing me off because I love New York City. I'm kind of hoping that when we get to the point where they start exploring things, because she's got a list of dates that you can do in New York and she wants to explore that, so she's going to do that with Parker. But kind of hoping once we get into that, she'll let it go a little bit about this hatred she's got for New York and appreciate its beauty and what it's got to offer. If she doesn't and she starts putting a dampener on all those spots, I think that will be the end of this book for me. I've thought about DNFing it already. So it's not going great, I will say. Like I say, the writing style is fun, and there are a couple of things that I am relating very hard to with Elle. She's very much an introvert, very much a hermit, and she likes to stay in her sweats all day at the apartment writing. I like to stay in my sweats all day at home reading. So relatable. But overall, I don't like her. I think Parker is a little bit dull, and I'm not into him in the slightest, and I hate the view that she's got of New York. So this isn't going well, I will say. I'm going to give it a little bit longer. I'm hoping that soon we'll get to a point where she starts taking him out on these dates and these spots in New York City to explore for this screenwrite that she's doing. But if she starts to shit on them, that will be it. I will be DNFing this book. So that is a shame. That is a shame indeed. I was tempted to take this back anyway because there is, I don't know if you can see that, but there is a mark on the bottom. I was tempted. I didn't know whether or not it was going to be worth it because I don't know if they'll have any more special editions. But if I'm not liking this, I will be taking it back. It only came in last week, so I should be able to take it back. But if I'm not liking it, I will be taking it back to the store. Mostly for that, but because I've DNF'd the book anyway and I don't need to keep it anymore. So that's not going great, unfortunately. The Three Body Problem I do still need to read, so I'm hoping to get to this either this evening or tomorrow evening when I get home. This one is a sci-fi book. I'll tell you some of it tomorrow when I'm picking it up, if it's tomorrow when I'm picking it up, because this has already been an incredibly long update. So my apologies. So I'm going to go because we need to get some breakfast before we go to Andy's dad's. So I'm going to go and do that, and I will check back in with you when I have something else to tell you about.
I don't wanna let you down. It's the only thing I think about every morning. You know my life ain't figured out, but I promise if you stick around it'll never get boring. We'll spend nights, cheap red wine, look at flats even though we can't afford them. I don't wanna let you down, I don't wanna lose you now. Will you stay even when you wanna walk away? When times get bad, we can learn to love what we have. I don't wanna let you down. Life without you would be boring, and we'll spend nights, cheap red wine, look at flats even though we can't afford them. I don't wanna let you down, I don't wanna lose you now. I don't wanna let you down.
Hello. Okay, it is Monday. It's the last day of the month, and I could do with getting a little bit of a shufty on. It's 8:05 in the morning. I am going to my brother's today, so I've got about an hour and 20 minutes or so before I need to set off, and I'm going to try and get a little bit of editing done, I think. But I just wanted to come on. I'm hoping that this will be a quicker update, but I don't think it will be, because I have some more books to haul with you. Oh, this is a combination of book that I've bought and Vinted, a gifted book from a publisher, some gifted books from patrons, and then some books that I've purchased myself while we were in Halifax and Skipton the other day. So let me run through with you how the weekend went. On Saturday we did, I think I updated you on, was it Saturday morning before we went out? It might have been Saturday morning before we went out. So we were going out with Andy's dad and we went to Halifax, which is around the area where he lives, and he decided that we were going to go to Skipton for the day, which was lovely. It was like 45 minutes away from his, but it was lovely, absolutely rammed. So I barely filmed anything because it was so fucking busy, and it's completely lethal in Skipton as well. There are cars everywhere, people crossing the road everywhere. It's insane, but such a beautiful place. I've been before, I think, as a child, but not for a really long time, and they had some gorgeous places. So they had this little indie bookstore, and Andy's dad knows well enough what I do, so he went straight into the bookstore. In fact, I think he aimed for it. And I always have to purchase something in an indie bookstore. I love to support indie bookstores where I can. This was the little bookshop, and I didn't realise that there are a handful of them as well in the area. So the book that I ended up purchasing is not something that's been on my radar for a while or anything. It's just something that I saw in the shop and decided to pick up because the edition of it is stunning. I know nothing about it, and it was the 9-month Contract by Amy Dawes. Never heard of this author before, but this cover is stunning, and not only that, but it's got tartan edges, and on the top and the bottom it's got goats on it. And I couldn't not get it, and it was $9.99, which is a bargain. It's got sprayed edges and everything. So yeah, I don't know anything about it. Help wanted, grumpy mountain man seeks baby mama, job is an incubator position only. Surrogate must be impervious to grunting as the form of communication and noisy brotherly neighbours. Rustic mountain range housing available upon request. Sounds great. Sign me up. So I ended up picking that up from the little indie bookstore, and then they had a huge where was it, Oxfam, which is like, they've got an Oxfam charity shop, and then they had the Oxfam charity shop, which is a bookshop as well specifically, and I found some absolute bargains in here. I am so proud of myself. I wasn't going in with the intention of buying anything, but because I'd already bought the book from the indie bookstore, and I'd, you know, been to Liverpool and had got that haul from Liverpool, so my intention wasn't to buy anything else, but I couldn't not get these when I saw them. So I ended up getting Ragnar Crimson Volume 2 and Volume 3, $3.99 each. $3.99 each. Absolute bargains. You will pay anything upwards of £15 for these each normally. So yeah, I was absolutely buzzing to find these. I'm not bothered about buying these second hand. Bargain central. So I ended up getting those two as well. So that was while we were in Skipton. Fantastic day, really, really lovely. It did end up raining towards the end and then got really, really windy, and it was a terrible drive back home, but otherwise it was a lovely day. Great to see Andy's dad. Yesterday was Mother's Day, so we ended up going out with Matt, Tara and the kids, and it was lovely. We went bowling in the morning, we had a Sunday roast in the afternoon, and I was struggling. My social battery is completely fucking dead, like entirely dead. So I was on the struggle bus. Now, to be fair, I don't kind of count it with my brother and my sister-in-law because I can be with them in any state, and you know, I'm a happy duck. So, but I was just really, really struggling. We did end up nipping to his mum's and then waiting for his brother to turn up. It was good to see them, but I can't tell you how hard I was struggling. I got home, changed into a t-shirt and got in bed for an hour. I barely slept, but it was nice to just lie in a dark room in silence. Complete silence. And then I got up and had a shower. And then watched a little bit of TV with Andy, which was nice. So, kind of a chill evening in the evening, but I did come home and have some book mail. So let's tell you about some of this. I did get a finished copy of When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. I am so confused by this because when I was in Liverpool on Thursday, they had this in the store, but I didn't think this was coming out till at least the end of April, if not May. So I was really confused. Anyway, Titan has sent me a finished copy of this. I will be on the Book Troop live show with Gabby and Gavin for this one, which I'm very excited about. I cannot wait. So yeah, really confused to see a finished copy in the bookstore the other day, but then Titan have sent me a finished copy as well. So I don't know when the release date is actually for this one, but alas, I'm excited to give it a read. Thank you to Titan for sending me that. I did get myself this copy of Darker by 4 by June CL Tan. I've liked June CL Tan previously. It was Jade Fire Gold. Really enjoyed it actually as a standalone. And I want to give this one a try. This was in the Feraloot YA box, and when was it? April 2024, and I'd skipped the Feraloot YA box at that point, so I didn't get a copy of this. But I'm intrigued to read it because I think there's a chance that I could like it. So we'll see, I suppose, but it is the Feraloot edition and it's very, very pretty indeed. So we're going to give it a bash. I did get it for a bargain, to be fair. And then the gifted books from some of my patrons. I've hit 10k on YouTube, which is incredibly exciting and I cannot quite believe it. I have been on here for just over 6 years now and I'm absolutely loving my time here. I have turned it into my full-time job and I love it. You know, it can be a struggle when I am completely out of ideas, but I love it. I love being here, I love doing these videos, and I love my time on YouTube. And for the last 2 years, it's been an internal goal of mine to hit 10k by the end of the year, and it hasn't happened. So it's great that it's now finally happened in 2025 and I can't quite believe it. Now that it's actually happened, I can't quite believe it. So thank you so much to all of you that have ever subscribed, watched a video, liked a video, commented on a video, are a patron. You know, it's support me in any way, shape or form. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so, so much. I truly appreciate you all and I wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so much. And on that basis, some of my patrons have treated me to some books because to celebrate. So from Kim, I do have Doctor Sleep by Stephen King, which is the sequel to The Shining, and I'm excited to give this one a read. I never thought I would actually read this book. After saying that, I don't know if I ever thought I was going to read The Shining, but I liked it. I gave it 4 stars, and I'm intrigued to see what happens to Danny in the future when he's an adult. So I am excited to give this one a read. I wouldn't mind watching the movie as well, so I want to read this and then watch the movie because I haven't seen it, but I know that Ewan McGregor plays Danny, so I would like to watch that one. But yeah, I got that one off Kim. Thank you so much, Kim. And then from Claire, I did get Give Me Butterflies by Gillian Meadows. I've seen a lot of people with this one recently, and I know Jodie's recently hauled it and I immediately added it to my TBR. The cover's stunning. I don't know what it's about. She's a sunshiny entomologist, he's a grumpy astronomer. They are a match written in the stars, if only they could stop being so logical. Sounds great, sign me up. I'm assuming she does something with, is an entomologist a butterfly thing? Bugs and science led her to entomology, and her role as a curator, inspiring museum visitors every day. Fair enough. And I love astronomy. I always, when I was younger, I wanted to be an astronomer. That was what I wanted to do with my job. I don't think I'm clever enough for that, but alas, that's what I wanted to do as a job when I was a kid. So I think this will be fascinating. Thank you, Claire, for sending me this one. The cover is stunning. And then she also sent me, because she cannot be stopped and she likes to add to to this collection, she also sent me Attack on Titan Omnibus. I don't know which number this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is volume 6 Omnibus, which features volumes 16, 17 and 18 of Attack on Titan. I need to continue on with this series now that I've got a backlist going strong. I've read the first Omnibus and I think I've read volume 4 out of Omnibus 2, but I do need to continue on with it because I was having a really good time with it. So I think it was last year when I started this actually, and I binged the first 3 or first 4 volumes, can't remember. But thank you, Claire, for continuing to add to this collection. I truly appreciate you. So yeah, that's another stack to add to my haul this month. Is insane. It's going to be insane. Just be prepared, okay? I got carried away. It is what it is. I couldn't go into that little indie bookstore and not get anything, you know? And then the books that I got from Waterstones on Thursday were essentially free because I didn't pay any money. No money was exchanged because I had £60 on my gift card. I still got 13, so I didn't overspend, you know? Anyway, excuses. I haven't yet read The 3-Body Problem. I've started it. I got up to chapter 2. I've no fucking clue what's going on. No idea. So I'm gonna try and finish that off this evening when I get home from work. I am looking after the kids today after work. Thomas has got a parents' evening, so Matt and Tara have got to go. They can't take the kids, so I'm looking after the kids for about half an hour while they go to parents' evening, and then I will be coming home. But Andy's back at work this week, so he won't be home till about 8ish, so I will have a couple of hours this evening to get a little bit of reading done, which is good news. I can get the 3-Body Problem finished, and then that is the end of March done and dusted. I have made no more progress on Summer in the City. I don't know if I'm going to. I don't really want to pick that book up anymore, and I don't know, we'll have to see. I'm kind of hoping that if I go back to it, when she starts doing the dates with Parker, she will see the beauty in New York City. But if she goes on those dates and she's continuing to shit on New York, I don't think we're going to get along, and I think we should just end the relationship there and be done and dusted. So we'll see. But I'm going to go because it's been another really long clip. My apologies. So I will check back in with you later. Okay, hello. I'm here to wrap this vlog up so that I can start the new one for April. And I'm here to let you know, we'll just wrap this vlog up. I've almost finished editing this vlog, which is great. I'm just halfway through the previous clip, which was a long ass clip. This was a very yappy vlog, but I also don't know if I actually told you that much. I just kept yapping on. I think I had a lot of opinions in this vlog actually about the books I was reading, which I suppose is a good thing, but I don't know. Anyway, reading, as far as what I've read is concerned this week, I did DNF Savage by Cal O'Reilly. I am still thinking about this book, I'm not gonna lie. I would love to know how it ends. So what I might do is towards the end of April, because I want to do 30 books in 30 days and I do not want to put myself in a slump right before I'm trying to do that for the month. So towards the end of April I may try and pick this back up and finish it off just to get to the end. I won't like count it as an April read. I may even just do it at the beginning of May actually, so that April is done and dusted and I don't sabotage myself. But I may try and pick it back up. I really want to know what happens at the end and how it all ties together. I can't stop thinking about it. So I may try and finish that off. This may be a soft DNF for the time being. I may torture myself just to find out what happens at the end. That's not funny, but I might do it anyway. Then I did read Chris Mould's War of the Worlds, which is a graphic novelization of H.G. Wells' classic War of the Worlds, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. I've got Copilot open because I can't remember what I bloody rated anything. 4.5 stars, and I really enjoyed this, really had a very good time with it, and yeah, I loved it. If I thought for a second that I would get this back in one piece, I would lend it to my dad, but I don't think I will do, so might get him his own copy, we'll see, because he might enjoy that. Then I did make the decision to DNF Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I just wasn't having a good time with this. I didn't find it that funny or relatable, and I just found it a little bit too snobby. I don't know, anybody else with me on that, or is that just me? So I did DNF that one. I did read Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I'm so mad that that book hasn't come before today. The release date is today, to be fair, but I'm really mad that I don't have it for 2 days so I can do an Instagram picture. It is what it is, there's nothing I can do about that, but yeah, sad about that. But I loved that book. I gave it 5 stars, a new god tier book. I'm obsessed with Abby's books, highly recommend picking them up. Then I read, the thing is I'm looking at Copilot, and because I read 2 other books in this week but that were not associated to this vlog, they were associated to the Our Fantasy vlog, that will be up before this one, 2 days before this one. I read them during this week, but they were for that vlog, so they're in the mix, whatever. And the last thing that I did read Yeah, it's The Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu. I did read this last night. I don't get it. I don't know if it's if I'm dumb. I don't know if it's because I've never seen the movie or read the book. I don't know if it's just terribly adapted. I don't know. What's a shame is that Cixin Liu has actually like really backed this like 100%. There is like a whole letter from Cixin Liu in the front of this talking about how they back this comic adaptation, blah blah blah, and they support it, blah blah blah. So I'm confused. I don't know if I need to continue reading for it to make sense, but I just don't understand at all what's going on here. I will say as well, as nice as the illustration style is, I was getting my characters all mixed up. They weren't very well differentiated, which is a shame, but I just didn't get it. It got 1 star. And I'm a little bit sad about it, I will say, but it is what it is. Thank you TN Press for sending me this, but it just didn't work for me, unfortunately. A very mixed bag of books this week, actually. The only thing we were missing was a 2. Yeah, it was a 2-star read. Because I had 2 DNFs, I had a 1 star with 3 Body Problem. I did read Exit Strategy during this week, but it was for a different vlog, and that was a 3.5 star read. And then I had a 4 star, 4.5 and a 5 star. The only thing we were missing was a 2. But yeah, quite the mixed bag. It is what it is, and now I need to get myself organised. Today is the 1st of April. I need to get myself organised for 30 books in 30 days, but it's a work day. I've got to go to my dad's and work, so I need to be clever about what I'm going to pick up today so that I can make sure I can finish something. I could just start a bigger book, to be fair, like a normal size book maybe, and finish it tomorrow, but I want a heavy filming day tomorrow, so novellas or manga may be a good idea to start the week off this week. So we'll see. I don't know. Oh, I was also reading Summer in the City as well by Alex Astor. I haven't made a decision on that book, so you'll find out during April what I decide to do with it. I haven't picked it up since. Honestly, I don't have any desire to do so, so it could be a DNF at this point, or I may try again, try and get another like 40 to 50 pages in and then make a decision. We'll see, but I need to be quick about it if I'm deciding whether or not to take that book back to the shop. We'll see. But regardless, it's been a very yappy week. I don't know. I feel like I was just pretending that I was on FaceTime with you all, and I just wanted to tell you all about how my reading was going and how my week's gone as well. I do wish that I would remember to get my camera out more and film more of my actual life portion, especially like this last week. We did so much, so many fun things that I wish I'd got on my camera out more. It is what it is, unfortunately. I remembered on Sunday when we went bowling and into the arcade, but I just forgot the rest of the week, and it's a shame. I think I just get overwhelmed when it's so busy. I'm just concentrating on trying not to lose who I'm with, or myself, or my sanity. So I just get overwhelmed when it's so busy, and like I say, it was absolutely rammed in Liverpool and same in Skipton, so it just didn't seem safe to get my phone out or my camera out. It is what it is, alas. But I'm gonna go anyway, because this is already almost an 8-minute clip. I don't know how I keep doing this. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below. Let me know what your favourite read of March was. Mine was Say You'll Remember Me, if you hadn't guessed. But also, the whole of the Thesma quartet. That was a fantastic read. I did get some good reads this month. It was great. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below, and I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye for now.